Professor Deepak Nair, Joint Secretary Rajneesh ji, Ambassador Dr. Mohan Kumar ji, Sachin ji, Dr. Nagesh Kumar, Excellencies and distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a great pleasure and honor to me to deliver the inaugural address on policy dialogue on unlocking the potential of regional cooperation in South Asia for achieving sustainable development goals, the Way Forward, organized by UNESCAP, SASIPs, and RIS. I would like to thank Dr. Nagesh ji, Dr. Sachin ji, and Professor Deepak ji for giving me this podium again. While the policy dialogue is highly significant for its most relevant theme, it is further enhanced by its aim of getting feedback on the deeper integration and regional cooperation in South Asia. The theme of the policy dialogue rightly captures our common vision and the sole purpose. SAC, as one of the platforms, would serve as a mechanism for follow-up and a review of the 2030 agenda in this region. Here, we policymakers should identify the areas of cooperation among the member states, prioritize them, develop working plans, monitoring and follow-up mechanism for the timely implementation, and find platforms for mutual learnings and capacity building. In this forum, we can share the best practices and design the common implementation and monitoring frameworks and strategies in South Asia. Here, I wish to quote the 18th SAARC Summit declaration related to SDG, which clearly spells out the roadmap for regional cooperation. The summit says, quote, "The leaders recognize that the post-2015 development agenda, following its adoption at the UN, would present opportunities to complement national and regional efforts on sustainable development. They directed to initiate an intergovernmental process to appropriately contextualize the sustainable development goals at the regional level," unquote. Friends, it was the declaration in 2014. Though we are little bit late to follow the spirit of the declaration, an intergovernmental expert group on poverty alleviation of the member states of SAARC has already been constituted to contextualize the 2030 development agenda in our regional context. Early convening of its meeting is need of the hour to speed up the contextualization process. The meeting, once convened, would initiate intergovernmental process to identify common goals and targets to be pursued at the regional level. Explore the possible areas of cooperation in order to pursue these goals. Common implementation and monitoring framework, and sharing the experiences and best practices among the member states. Ladies and gentlemen, the SDGs are integrated and should be dealt in organic fashion and create ecology for their achievement at all levels of governments, starting from subnational, national, regional, and international levels. The interrelationships and synergies between the 17 SDGs and 169 targets within the region is crucial. For instance, the degree to which absolute poverty, SDG 1, is reduced will depend on the progress made on physical infrastructure, SDG 9, access to quality health and education, access to energy, decent employment, etc. Again, healthy lives have direct linkages with agriculture productivity, SDG 2. Similarly, the promotion of renewable energy, SDG 7, could bring about positive impact on alleviating poverty and ensuring the well-being of rural households. Regional cooperation can help to achieve these integrated SDG goals in different fronts. Minimizing the threats of organized crimes, climate change effect, human trafficking, drug trafficking, money laundering, natural disasters, illegal trade, and maximizing negotiation strength for international cooperation is impossible without regional cooperation. Again, accelerating the speed of achieving the goals 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11 becomes easier through the path of regional cooperation. Even in case of goals 1, 8, 10, 12, and 16, we can share the experiences and best practices with each other. Installing a strong monitoring and evaluation system with a credible database to measure and incentivize progress across all the SDGs is crucial, which in turn can be achieved from regional cooperation. Collectively, we have capacity, means, and resources to address the challenges. We need now in vision, partnership, and collaboration coupled with intensive investment. And we have to optimize them from all quarters in the South Asia region through multi-stakeholder approach wherever possible. If regional cooperation framework of Europe, East Asia, Africa, and other regions of the world are getting success in pursuing the development agenda, why not ours? What we need is our collective commitment in these regards. Mutual cooperation is our ethos since antiquity. Following this path, we created regional forums such as SAC, BIMSTEC, etc., to create synergy in our development. Let's use them in getting the human potentials. In this moment, let me mention here that Nepal successfully hosted the 4th BIMSTEC summit in Kathmandu recently. The summit provided us with an opportunity to deliver on the issues of regional cooperation, including deepening economic integration through collaboration and cooperation on the matter of our common concerns. In the meeting of BIMSTEC, leaders have agreed to work together in poverty alleviation, transport and communication, trade and investment, counter-terrorism and transnational crime, environment and disaster management, climate change, energy, technology, agriculture, fisheries, and so forth. I'm confident that the deliberation during this policy dialogue would be helpful in generating the new insights on how the stakeholders can overcome the persistent challenges we face today and navigating towards building greater partnership in regional cooperation in South Asia for achieving sustainable development goals. It will dig out all the issues, find out the solutions, and create the environment of cooperation in South Asian region. Let me also reiterate here that the success in regional cooperation hinges on our collective commitment and on timely implementation of agreed decisions and agreements. I wish for the grand success of this policy dialogue. Long live South Asian cooperation. I thank you all and namaste.
Thank you very much, sir, for your highly enlightening discourse covering themes, frameworks, and the way forward, and your words of support and encouragement. May I now invite our Director General to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Thanks, Abhisachi. Thanks, Karalji, for extremely enlightful statement this morning. Those of us who are involved for last 3 days in our continuous dialogue on SDGs are fully aware now of the key issues and ideas and expectations that are there from the region and, of course, by the region. As Joint Secretary rightly pointed out, this is aspirational region, and I think that description is quite apt in terms of how we go forward. Today, our idea was that after 2-day consultation, the third and the last day, couple of think tanks would sit down and would talk about the way forward, the researchable issues which have emerged in last 2 days consultation, and of course the ideas in terms of strategies and trying to juxtapose them in terms of the recent initiatives that are already there. We are extremely glad that today we are also joined in here by both the SAARC Secretariat and, of course, the BIMSTEC Secretariat. That not only is in terms of how we see forward the South Asia integration process moving forward, but also bringing in the heft that is required in terms of traction from the regional entities and the governments. It is also important here to re-emphasize the point that Mr. Rajneesh raised again in terms of South Asia and Southeast Asia connect. But if we just go backward, Prime Minister's emphasis was through the Heart of Asia process to get Central Asia through Afghanistan, South Asia and Southeast Asia get connected. And that, I think, is absolutely important. And we are happy that in this room we also have representation from Afghanistan. So idea is that we promote this larger Asian axis, and fortunately the UN SCAP office here also has this larger focus in the region. Think tanks here are also likely to continue in the last session the ideas in terms of South Asia specific action and how we go forward. As Professor Deepak Nayyar explained, the South Asia Center for Policy Studies, SACEPS, which is housed at RIS at this point, had glorious past in terms of both publications and contributions of providing inputs for the eminent persons group, which led to several new initiatives in South Asia. Friends, I think the deliberations today are focusing on 3 broad issues which we discussed in last 2 days, but are important in terms of how we carry forward joint research among institutions. The idea of regional trade, which both Dr. Nagesh Kumar and our chairman, Dr. Mohan Kumar emphasized on, is in terms of regional trade and industrialization strategies for South Asia in the context of value chain. And that itself is a major issue which we would be discussing and taking it up in a session that distinguished fellow from RIS, Mr. Rajiv Kher, would be chairing. The second is extremely important, and for that we are thankful to MS Swaminathan Foundation, which is leading this work on SDG Goal 2. My own colleagues, Dr. P.K. Anand and Mr. Krishna Kumar, have just finished a major study on what India's roadmap should be on SDG 2, and it's a very substantive study. Those of you who are interested, the copies are available outside. And the third session is on transport and energy, which Dr. Nagesh Kumar himself would be leading. It is also pertinent here to point out that South Asia also need to step back and ponder over what Deepak Nayyar emphasized, quality of FTAs that we are going forward with. And that, I think, is important for us to see not only in terms of what preparedness we required, and he gave example of migrant workers in West Asia, And this point he has been emphasizing for some time now in terms of both the capacity building, but also our collective ability for bargaining and reducing the cost of remittances, as remittances play an important role in our respective economies. So that is important. Though we very much wanted to cover health as well in this day-long consultation, but was not possible. Maybe in the round table, I would urge those of you who are interested in pursuing work in this area to come up and raise that issue. We are also not able to focus much in the day-to-day on climate change and urbanization. In fact, when we were there in Nepal for the BIMSTEC summit, and we had opportunity of meeting Honorable Prime Minister Oli, he gave a beautiful example of how Sri Lanka, Bangladesh would influence Nepal's existence by not allowing pollution in oceans, and how by contributing plastic in ocean, we are contributing to acid rains and accelerating the melting of glaciers. So those points are equally important, which we could not take up.